let them know we are developing that new solution. And the easiest way for me was to do a virtual event. People are remote. Remote engagement is a core, challenge at the moment for managers. They are looking for innovative solutions like this.
Even though it's for free and you're not making money, you suddenly got a reach of 100,000 people there.
That's exactly
Whereas
it.
if you want. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. Today, we got Brudis Limar. Limar,
yeah.
Limar.
I'm glad to be there today.
And,
thanks for inviting me, Simon.
Yeah, and my understanding is your bloodline, is it a French last name or French descendant?
No, United States. It's from the United States. Yeah, Brudis is also from that area. Yes.
Oh, okay, but your father is from Africa, right? Or your grandfather?
No, actually, I'm coming from an African-American family who is mostly present in Louisiana, and I grew up in France. Oh. And that's the reason.
Oh, you grew up in France? Oh, yes. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So Brudis, you are the Chief Marketing Officer at Braindate. And just so people are aware, Braindate is a pure learning solution that's reinventing the way people learn. And the way I see it, based on what Brudis shared with me, is you're kind of like a crossover between Zoom and LinkedIn, kind of merging it together. Braindate works with major Fortune 500 companies like Salesforce and Airbnb, just to name two of the companies. It's a 7-figure business, growing super fast. So Brudis, super excited to have you on today.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be there today too, and sharing marketing tips, trends, what's new, what works, what doesn't work, all these things that are so interesting, especially at the moment. Yeah.
So I just gave Brudis the shock of his life. Told him that we're starting the show off with a shot of hot sauce, and basically the way that the show works, we're gonna be putting you on the hot seat, Brudis. We're going to start off the show with a shot of hot sauce. And because we want to get to the nitty gritty, we want to get down to the secrets. I want to be asking you questions that maybe you don't want to answer. And every single time you can't answer a question, no problem. You just take another shot of hot sauce. Is that fair?
It makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you warned me, so I'm ready.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
So let's start off. I'm going to pour I got some Carolina Reaper hot sauce, which is I think it's the second or third spiciest pepper in the world. Last time I died, so hopefully I don't die this time.
No, probably not. Yeah, we have a conversation to have. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Ow.
Is that spicy?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, I used to use this on my pizza, but not, without anything.
Taking a shot. Yeah.
So I'm ready for the tough questions then.
Oh man. All right. So first, before we begin everything, just tell us a little bit about your company, right?
Yeah.
Braindate is the main product. Give us a little short background on Braindate, what it is.
Yeah, so it's been it's a very fascinating company in a way. It's been 12 years, founded by a university professor. So at first, she founded the company to reinvent the way people meet and learn, and adding a new layer of education to the world, which is about peer learning. This is sometimes what we call collaborative learning or social learning. Even now, it's a buzzword. But 12 years ago, she was really visionary to build, that company with that vision. And since then, we've started as a social network, back in the days, 2010, 2011. So really at the origin of social media. But then we grew a lot in the event industry, thanks to powerful conferences such as C2 Montreal. You've mentioned, some of our clients, we are providing Braindate for the user experience. But the really exciting part for me now is that we are entering a new market, which is the long-term vision of the company, with Braindate Every Day, that is going to power and to bring peer learning to organizations all around the world.
Yeah. So you mentioned conferences was where everything started. It started 11 years ago. So that was what, 2010, 2012 was when
2010,
the company
yeah.
started.
Yeah, exactly.
2010, and it started off with events and conferences. So is it kind of like, if I'm thinking it properly, if I'm going to a traditional conference, I meet you, Brudis, and I connect with you. I add you on LinkedIn and all that stuff, and we can talk. But it's live at the event. We can actually, talk and exchange notes at the event. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's even a bit more, I'd like to start with what was the, the problem to solve when we launched to, Braindate to events. And it was really about when you are going to a large conference, when there are more than 1,000 participants, how to help the participants find the right person and the right conversation. Because we want to save everyone's time. We want to connect them meaningfully on mutual interest. So the way we work is, unlike every solutions you might have used at conferences, these solutions are connecting people on profile. Braindate is connecting people on content. This is why, there's that kind of analogy between Zoom and LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, there's content you cannot connect. On Zoom, there's no content, but you can connect. And we are merging these two, actually.
Right. So content, like every single time I make a LinkedIn post, your platform will analyze things that I talk about and connect me to someone else.
It's even more than this. When you are going to a conference, we create you an open space, let's say a forum, when you can create your content and people can interact and book meetings with you based on that content. Not because you are Simon, Chief Marketing Officer of such company, just because you are Simon who wants to talk about podcast and how to generate opportunities through podcast, for instance. So, it's really about transitioning people from a traditional sales perspective about, I need to connect with that VP because it's a VP, instead of, you should connect with that person because you have mutual interest around podcast, business generation.
Wow. And so, that's amazing. And is that still going on today after 9 years? Is still used a lot in conferences?
Yeah, a lot. Obviously, we had some, hiccups with the pandemic because we used to provide our solution only live. So we had to develop a virtual solution in 3 weeks. It was the quickest go-to-market strategy I had to build, actually. That's very interesting. And then, thanks to this, we developed a hybrid solution. And now we are ready to bring that solution to organization, especially in that world, the future of work, people are remote. Remote engagement is a core, challenge at the moment for managers. They are looking for innovative solutions like this.
So before we get into everything, I wanted to share any numbers you can share to let us know how large the company is right now, either revenue or amount raised.
Yeah. So first of all, we are still privately owned since the beginning. Which gives you, as a chief marketing officer, the complexity of generating revenue before investing. So, you cannot rely on millions from VCs. And in regards to numbers, what we target for the end of the year is to be 50 employees, 5 million revenue. We are planning an important growth for next year, thanks to the launch of Braindate Every Day.
I see. Cool. And in terms of number of clients or number of users, do you have those stats as well?
Yeah, actually, we have a real-time dashboard powered, it's our client management system. Actually, we are at 600 plus clients already. And yeah, we saw an important modification after the pandemic. We used to be at a very high price before pandemic. but we had to reinvent ourselves, launch new business model, more accessible, like a self-serve solution we launched last year. So now the price per client decreased a lot from the pandemic, but for the good, because we also increased our customer base by a large amount too.
Yeah. And how many, like when it comes to users, I guess it's users in terms of the people that come to conferences and also the employees at these large companies, right? That's how you count number of users.
Exact. There are just a difference between memberships. Okay, the number of memberships we need to create for the platform, and the number of people who are using the solution, which is different every time. Like every solution. So we are pretty close to 1 million users. That's the target for next year. So we are growing fast on that number. We are doing events from 50 person to 200,000.
Wow.
So, I mean, the scale, the scale is very big. That being said, that large events with 200,000 participants, you cannot expect to have 200,000 on your networking solution like Braindate. So, you scale down the adoption rate in regards to that number. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm a Salesforce or Airbnb and or like obviously not Salesforce, but a different company, and I want to use your solution, what are some of the use cases? Like, why would a big Fortune 500 company like Salesforce want to use Braindate?
So we've started with these companies by bringing Braindate to their flagship event, the annual user conference. Think Salesforce Dreamforce. How to help, back in the days, Dreamforce was 300,000 participants. How to help someone find, the right match in San Francisco when you are participating to Dreamforce. So we started that way. But then they discover new possibilities to unlock peer learning, especially at internal events. Think about Salesforce senior executives, breaking down silos, helping them to share best practices. Co-development is also something where we are really, really powerful. So, these are the use cases where they can use Braindate. But now with the launch of Braindate Every Day, they can also now even use Braindate on an ongoing basis for their internal communities. Think of Tableau. They have a data collaborative community, a very important one. They use Braindate, to connect people along the way during the year between them. And now, we are entering into what about your employees using our solution every day for onboarding purposes, for, all the activities you are doing, such as corporate networking events. These things can be powered by Braindate.
That's amazing. Okay, so now let's talk about the product. You created a new product during COVID. You brought it to market very, very fast. What was the go-to-market strategy there? You were entering like you said, you did a lot of in-person events, but this new product was targeting virtual events. So it's kind of within a similar fare, but different. What was the go-to-market strategy there?
So it was, I don't want to say easy, but it was easier for me in the fact that since 2017, we are using not the same strategy, but we are relying on the flywheel strategy, marketing-wise. Okay, for me, customer advocacy, ambassadorship is very important and powerful. So what is nice for me in March 2020, even if we've lost 95% of our revenue in 4 days, I was able to rely on my ambassadors, my power users, my champions, my clients, to let them know we are developing that new solution. And the easiest way for me was to do a virtual event. So in 3 weeks, what we decided as the go-to-market was, let's do a virtual event for people to experiment. One of the mistakes probably we did was we did this without even thinking of a beta or a soft launch. We were strong on, we are ready in 3 weeks. And I can tell you that I've never seen such engagement internally about a common goal. It was really something we had to do. But then when we launched, obviously we had some hiccups and, we learned, but we should have done a soft launch and then an official event. But that being said, that go-to-market was absolutely the right choice. We had about 200 leads in a week, able for us to get back on track for the year and to generate enough opportunities to survive, because at that time it was really to survive.
Yeah. And so there were no need to run ads and spend crazy amounts there. No need to do organic and do influencers, because you already have clients, big clients that you've worked with in the past. And so was it as simple as you just literally sent an email and said, "Hey, we're doing this. Are you interested?" And it's like quick, or was there a little bit of educating or follow-ups that were required?
The important thing is that we are highly focusing, in the flywheel strategy among the different tactics, we are highly focusing on the delight aspect. Okay, we are here to build relationships with our clients that are professional, but also personal. So then, it's like professional friends you can rely on. And, we were all in the same boat at that time. So they were really open to help, to participate. We didn't have to really push too hard, they wanted to help us. And, even at that time, what saved us, at least for a few weeks, was the fact that we had clients who paid us in 2020 without having the chance to get the product we contracted together. Just because they wanted to help us. They wanted to help us. So they paid without having the services. And then, we find a way along the way to, get back on a new collaboration. But that customer advocacy was a key part of the success in March 2020. Yeah.
Wow. And was that you personally that reached out, or was there a huge sales team that kind of reached out? Was it just one massive email blast, or was it super?
Everyone was on board, and I would say that the absolute lead of that project was our CEO. It has to come from the top. When you are dealing with,
from the top.
Exact. When you are dealing with so many challenges in a short period of time, everyone should be on board, but the CEO is really the front line where you are. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was not the chief marketing officer. I was more in charge of sales and marketing, but mostly sales. So I was really focusing on, securing revenue, the maximum, and finding new ones at that time. Yeah.
I see. And then, so what happened when you got 200 leads in the first week? Those are some fantastic numbers. How did you get up to the 500 mark or 600? So that's another 400 additional clients. Did you record some of the events that these first customers created, and kind of use that as marketing afterwards? Like, what was the marketing strategy after that first period of customer advocacy?
So we continued relying on that advocacy. Okay, we still wanted to provide the best experience for them. For us to capture also word of mouth. I highly believe in word of mouth, clients referrals. Direct referrals. It's directly SQL. It's when that email is entering, it's a SQL from the start. So we continue relied on this. However, where it's challenging to answer your question is the fact that the industry changed a lot too. In the fact, these 200 were for virtual events. But, now in 2022, now we are back with our clients for live experiences. And the virtual clients, some of them disappeared just because, virtual events are facing really hard troubles at the moment. Some, innovate.
It's hard to monetize.
Exact. So that 200 2 years ago is not the same 200 than this year not in a large part, but in an important portion. So we had to continue relying on this, but where we've made a very important, timely, wise decision is January 2020. Even just before we launched our blog. And our blog was the content strategy. We wanted to capture more organic traffic and qualified opportunities too.
Right. Okay, so now we're talking about actual strategy. So first step was the advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
Second step was to build organic content.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then you
Yeah.
started a blog, and does the like what percent of your leads come in through the blog versus? I assume there's some outbound as well, right? There's some outbound, there's some inbound.
Not at that time. Actually, we've started outbound 3 months ago. We hired our first team. Yeah, we never did outbound until then. We were able
Wow.
to continue living without any external expenses or even a BDR team. Now we are entering into that mode because I want to balance flywheel with the funnel strategy. At some point, you need to have a combination of both. My flywheel is working well because something I didn't mention yet is where we emphasize a lot and still now is the fact is our uniqueness. And we are strongly advocating our why we do this. We want to be unique compared to alternatives or similar solutions on the market because of our mission and the reasons why. I told you that the company was founded by a university professor. We are an education-based first company before doing networking for events. So we use the blog to advocate our why, such as also, press exchanges, that kind of activities were really powerful to provide that inbound amount we needed for years. But now, as we want to grow, and with the new product, and with the fact that I'm penetrating new markets, I need to, use the funnel strategy for that one, at least to launch.
Right. I see. So give us a sense. So that means that all of the growth that has come, from 200 to 600 clients or whatever the growth has been, it's all come from inbound, word of mouth, and the blog. So the blog must have a lot of traffic.
Exact. So there's just these two strategies clearly, the blog, but then there's another one that I found very useful and I'd like to share because I think it's a secret sauce here. Is I'm using a lot event, but for visibility.
Okay. So, event marketing. You're talking about using the events for marketing, and that's a secret sauce. Explain a little bit. What does that mean?
So actually, that's an interesting part in the fact that I'm coming from the event industry, trade shows, so I know how to operate sponsorship, booth, exhibitor management, let's say, and it used to be very important amount to invest with. Sometimes unclear ROI because of your sales cycle. Sometimes a lead or an opportunity can come 2-3 years after, but you need to be there because, this is the event of the industry. And when I joined Braindate, what I found fascinating is the fact that we are powering a solution for event organizer. And sometimes, let's be frank, they don't have the budget to bring Braindate. But for me, it's interesting to be there because there's potential leads or potential buyers present at this event. So what I'm doing is I'm finding exchange of services and visibility with these organizers for me to capture new leads without spending a lot of money because I'm offering my solution in exchange of visibility. And I mean, here it's very typical. It's very typical to Braindate because we are offering that solution, but don't underestimate the exchange of services when it can have a marketing, opportunity for you in the long run. And I found so useful for me instead of spending ads, to capture people, I prefer to find an agreement with Salesforce and, cover part of the budget for me to have visibility and then maximize my marketing budget at the end.
Wow. Because if you can successfully be a sponsor or power an event that has 100,000 people, even though it's for free and you're not making money, you suddenly got a reach of 100,000 people there.
That's exactly
Whereas
it.
if you wanted to run ads to hit 100,000 people, how much money would you be spending in order to get real And these are your main targets. You talk about a target audience. This is your target audience, right?
Exact. And sometimes, you have events with business leaders that is exactly my ICP. So, I mean, I'm interested in being there no matter what. So this is where we start discussing the value. And then obviously, when you are doing event marketing, the core part is please do your analytics. Please, assess your ROI post event, because otherwise, how you will know next year where to invest, but you found golden nugget, and you need to rely on this one long run. So that's a very interesting one. And the other aspect that was missing on our part, because every time I'm doing my SWOT, one of my main strengths is that people are doing Braindate. They are doing my products, such as Zoom. You are going to Zoom, and it's very powerful. And, until the beginning of the year, we didn't have a website, braindate.com. We had only E180, the name of the company. So the main focus of the first semester of the year was to build a website, braindate.com. That way, when people are at events, they do Braindate, they can directly catch to the braindate.com website. So my traffic at the moment, without any ad spending, is skyrocketing on a month-to-month basis, because we launched in February. We invested a lot into internal SEO. We provided and we created a lot of SEO content driven, for the blogs, and, even we paid external articles. And all my rankings on the website are skyrocketing at the moment.
Insane. That's crazy. So just to recap, your go-to-market was customer advocacy first / ambassadors. You can put that in there. You got the blog, which is generating a lot of traffic. And then you focus on partnerships, key partnerships with event organizers.
Exact.
Anything else that is significant in terms of marketing channels or strategies that brought some ROI, or these are your top three?
Actually, these are my top three on September 8th. The fact is that we are starting to invest into social media since April. Much more. We hired someone for that reason. We are starting, as I told you, to more, list management with our BDR that are important. We invested. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm assessing sales tech. I know that for a chief marketing officer, it kind of, being beyond your role, but it's important because at the moment, for instance, I just registered to a video walkthrough solution. There are many, many more solutions at the moment providing this. Many. So I've chosen one. We're going to start next week because I want to provide more insights also to my people on the website.
What's the name of the solution?
I've chosen Navatic. I've chosen Navatic, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna take your first shot of hot sauce there, but okay, all right, you disclosed that.
No, I told you, I'm fine answering your questions.
Okay, so you're starting social, you're starting outreach, very important for B2B, for a B2B company.
Yeah.
Final piece, paid ads. Is that something that you're going to be testing out at all, or have you tested it and it didn't work in the past?
So I did test very low amounts, to be honest, few $1,000s to start. I'm starting Google Ads because of my SEO for that reason, but the results are really lower than expected. Where I would like to double down, but I would be curious to hear from other chief marketing officer at the moment is video marketing. Yes, this is a core part, but this is a part where you need to invest a lot, both time and resources. I'm not a company yet where I could have a full video specialist within my marketing team. And if I go external, it's too expensive. I know that, results are there, but now my different strategies. I'm really conscious about the way I'm spending, because there are so many ways of increasing your marketing by not spending. And for the ads, the fact is I'm also kind of a chief marketing officer of another company, my wife's company in perfume. So we are running ads for that company, and I'm seeing a decline since the last 6 months on all channels. TikTok is hard to engage because, it's a more long run. But if you look at traditional ones such as Instagram and Facebook, it's declining on a regular basis at the moment.
Declining as in the cost is declining
Results.
or the
Results.
return? The results are declining.
The return. Yeah, the return. I'm seeing a 10-15% decrease per month on return on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be a bunch of factors. I mean, cost is no secret. The cost of ads have been going up. And it could be on the flip side, conversion rates are dropping because maybe we're in a recession and there's less spending. That could be another factor that's reducing conversion rates. So when you have increasing spend, increasing costs, reduction in conversions, that could be resulting in a drop in ROAS.
That's right.
So cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Brudis. It's been amazing. Unfortunately, we couldn't get you to take any shots of hot sauce, so you answered everything.
I'm gonna grab my end of the glass just for fun.
There you go. You can eat spicy. We'll have to get you to try some of this in person someday.
Yeah, sure.
I got like 3 really spicy ones.
Okay, I'm sure we're gonna connect at an event in the upcoming weeks or months for sure. Yeah.
So for the people listening, if they're interested in Braindate, what should we look forward to over the next 6 to 12 months? What are the next big milestones? What are the next product releases? Like, what should we be looking forward to?
So the next big milestone for us, it's really about raising awareness about Braindate every day. Where I'm really strong is the fact that every time we have a client call, a partner call, or a stakeholder call, people really love what we do for organization. The fact is no one knows. And, this is where ads can become interesting. But September for me is a month with very interesting events coming in regards to what I've mentioned. The next big milestone for us is continue capturing our early adopters of that solution, learning with them, refining the product along the way for, early next year to be fully ready. Where I will emphasize, and I'm going to share my secret sauce of the next 3 months, is the fact I'm going to double down on the marketplace. We're going to start with being present on the Slack marketplace, first of all, because we already have a great partnership with them. Then Microsoft Teams, HubSpot, Salesforce, all these ones. I want Braindate to be present on all these marketplaces.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing everything. Appreciate your time as usual. And we'll definitely have to do this again one day.
With pleasure. Thanks a lot, Simon, for having me today.